I think that the irony right now, and I'll finish my comment, is people are very busy uncopying it, right? Bitcoin was maybe 75% of proof of work networks before the merge, and now it's 95%. So, in fact, it's been uncopied because people, yeah, I used to joke, right? If you have a brilliant engineering insight, your competitor may, in fact, look at it and say, why would I want to do that thing? And so Bitcoin is so brilliant that many of the competitors, they literally they're blinded by their own personal self-interest and their own egos. And so rather than appreciate the brilliance of it, they don't actually appreciate the fact that the whole point was to avoid having a company or avoid having a counterparty or avoid having a set of programs. Some people think I have to keep changing the code, I have to keep upgrading the software. The brilliance is not changing the software, right? What they don't realize is to be a commodity, you can't keep changing it. But if you're a software engineer, you want to keep changing stuff. So half of the crypto world wants to keep changing the code. And what they don't realize is if you can change the code of Bitcoin, you probably made it a security, not a commodity. And if you remove the energy from Bitcoin, you probably made it a security, not a commodity. So the idea that a bunch of smart engineers are going to add a bunch of functionality, change it every year, and suck the energy out of it is converting a digital commodity into a digital security. They just don't have enough grounding in all of the various disciplines to realize how horrific a mistake that is.
Hello and welcome to Money Talks. In today's video, Michael Saylor, who is now serving as the chairman of MicroStrategy, addresses the issues of energy concerns and environmental propagandas created against Bitcoin, his thoughts on regulatory clarity and how it will pave a way for Bitcoin, and why you should be careful about altcoins trying to copy Bitcoin. Make sure to stick around till the end of this video where Michael Saylor discusses Bitcoin as a universally acknowledged digital commodity and why crypto market is still immature as an asset class.
I think that you have an entire crypto industry and a lot of crypto promoters that they've got this kind of existential problem, and there's no way to defend it. I mean, there really is no defense to creating a token, giving it to yourself, selling it to the general public, and not disclosing. And so the best way to deal with it is change the subject. So we change the subject to energy usage is bad. And the reason that you should let us exist and the reason you buy our token is because Bitcoin is bad for the environment, right? Well, it's bad for the environment in the same way that oranges and meat and buildings and cars are bad for the environment. They all use energy. In fact, hospitals use energy, right? So if I went to you and I said, I'm going to eliminate your hospital and I'm going to replace it with a virtual imaginary hospital that's going to actually lower the cost of healthcare, and I'm going to fix your avatar up whenever your avatar has an imaginary heart attack, I'll give you imaginary surgery and I'll make you imaginary healthy, and you could pay me in imaginary coins, and then you'll go home imaginary happy, right? I mean, sure, you could do it, but it's ridiculous.
In a widely anticipated move, the Federal Reserve on Wednesday raised interest rates by 75 basis points, making the third consecutive time this year that central bankers decided for a hike of that magnitude and stiffening headwinds in the Bitcoin market. The federal funds rate will rise to a range of 3% to 3.25%, the highest since late 2007. The rate had stayed near zero for more than 2 years. Traders are currently betting that the federal funds rate will go above 4.25% before central bankers pause the campaign.
I think that the market is going to become more and more educated, and as the market gets more educated, it's going to see the virtues of Bitcoin as the dominant digital commodity, and Bitcoin's going to get stronger. I think that that regulators, as they focus on this, the more when you focus on it and you bring a lot of attention to bear, I think they're going to realize that they need to segment the market into digital currencies, digital securities, digital commodities, And they're going to set precedents by their rulings where it's going to become more clear. It's already becoming clear to institutional investors. And you can see, for example, you're reading about the comments of the chair of the SEC in the Wall Street Journal on the front page, and you're reading about it in Bloomberg. If you roll the clock back 2 years, I don't think Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal really understood the difference between 10,000 crypto tokens. But I think today it's becoming critical for multi-billion-dollar investors and big banks and big regulators and politicians to understand the difference between a U.S. dollar stablecoin and crypto property in the form of a Bitcoin and a crypto token that's a security. And there will be a lot of sound and fury for the next couple of years while we sort it out. But I have confidence that the world will eventually sort it out because there are physics involved here, and there's a lot of rationale involved here.
Following the hike, the U.S. stock markets reversed earlier gains and turned negative. The Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, and the S&P 500 indexes were shedding 1.73%, 1.45%, and 1.75% respectively on the day.
To that point, I think that we're going to actually see the industry mature. I think it's getting harder and harder to feign ignorance and for people to be oblivious to these material differences. Um, I think that there are some crypto organizations that are lobbying both sides of the fence, right? And I think that's frustrating. But I also think there are some Bitcoin only uh, organizations that are doing a good job of articulating the ethical benefits of proof of work. Uh, I do support some of them, and other people that I know support some of them. And I would encourage anybody to support the Bitcoin only organizations because they don't have a conflict of interest. Um, I think, you know, to the point, if we start from basic principles, we wanted a treasury reserve asset and we wanted a digital gold or a digital commodity without an issuer that could be global and neutral. And so we looked at all of the thousands and thousands of cryptos and we concluded it needed to be a proof of work type asset. And we looked at every proof of work asset, and Bitcoin was the dominant. And it was the one with the best monetary policy, with the clearest ideology. And then we asked the question, well, will it be banned? Will it be copied? Will it be hacked?
Given Bitcoin's rising correlation with the stock markets, some fall in price was expected out of Bitcoin in the crypto markets post the Fed hike. However, despite Bitcoin hitting intraday lows of $18,700, the candles are still keeping green. Although trading at $18,967, Bitcoin is dangerously close to the 3-month-old critical support level of $18,600. Ethereum has remained mostly unmoved, trading at $1,322. Should by the end of the day the Fed's announcement sink in, both BTC and ETH could trigger a dip in prices.
There are a lot of regulators that have concerns about when you use it as a currency because they see it might be threatening to their local currencies. Look, every country in the world has capital controls. You can't just move capital out of China. You can't move capital out of Argentina. You can't move capital out of Lebanon or Turkey. So when it's used as currency, you get a lot of capital control issues or KYC issues or the like, or, AML issues. But as property, it's not controversial. And it looks like even as cross-border payments, it's not going to be, a lot of people are going to allow you to do cross-border payments. So I think that in the dimension of will it be banned? No, it's going the opposite direction. It's not being banned. And now we're back to this issue of will it be copied? It got copied thousands of times, but most of the times the copies were imperfect because the people that copied it didn't understand the engineering elegance.
So, what do you think about the environmental concerns related to Bitcoin? Tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon with the next video. Thank you so much for watching.